Shelley, one of the things that so many people face and are dealing with is when their loved one who's living with dementia asks the same question over and over and over again. And they're not able to recall that you answered the same question 5 minutes ago. Do you have any suggestions for the best way to manage that and handle that?
Yeah, a lot of our clients, that is one of the biggest things that emotionally debilitates them, because they are constantly answering the same questions and getting more frustrated every time. We always kind of talk about effective communication, right? It's not just communication. It has to be effective. To be effective, when somebody is asking a question over and over, we need to answer the question in a way that they understand. Many times when somebody asks that same question over and over again, it's because they're not understanding the answer, or they're not processing that answer. And then they kind of go on this loop of that question over and over. So one of the tips we talk about with our clients is, what is the question that they're asking? Is it something that has a reasonable answer? Because if it's something that doesn't make sense, we can redirect the question elsewhere.
Can you give us an example of what that looks like, or what type of question that might be?
Sure. It might be, when's your dad coming home? But dad passed away. So now the caregiver is answering this question in a stressful way, because now they're in their grief mode, because now they're thinking about their loss when they lost their dad.
And also probably thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that mom does not remember this.
And usually, sadly, what we hear is, Mom, don't you remember? Dad died. And now that's like the first time that she hears that. And she has to grieve all over again of that moment. So what we want to do is look at the emotion behind that. If she's looking for her husband, there's a reason. It may be the time of day that she used to make him dinner. It may be that she's just feeling lonely. It may be that she knows he's not here, but she doesn't really know why. So we have to look at the emotion behind the question. So when we do that, if we kind of realize, wait, mom made dinner for him every night at 5 o'clock. She's at my house, living here. She doesn't use the kitchen. She doesn't cook here. She might be feeling worried because she can't do what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So in that instance, the first thing we want to do is say, oh, please don't worry. I talked to dad, and he's going to have dinner at work and then come home. And we have to be careful when we do that, because we have had clients experience where we've said that and they said, oh, really? Well, where is he and who is he having dinner with? So we have to be careful and really know the person we're talking about, right? And the history.
So true.
Oh my gosh.
And you were really the caregiver for your grandmother from a very young age. And have you experienced this personally? Is this something, where she was a person that asked questions over and over again? With my father, when he had dementia, it wasn't something that we experienced where it was the same question time and time again. But was it a different situation for you? Was your grandmother somebody that did ask those questions again and again?
She asked them again and again and again. And at 14 years old, how do you know how to answer that, right? We don't know what we don't know. So we just kept getting frustrated with her and saying, oh my gosh, that's the 4th time you've asked that. This was the answer, right?
And that takes us back to, she doesn't recognize that this is the fourth time that she's asked this question.
So she's looking at you like, what do you mean? I just asked this question.
Yeah. And then how is she feeling in that moment where you're saying to her, you have asked me this question 4 times in the last 5 minutes, and she doesn't have a recollection of that.
And let's put it this way. Let me put it in this perspective as the caregiver. How does it feel as the caregiver when you realize, oh, geez, I just made her feel really bad, right? It just makes us feel worse as a caregiver. So for that caregiver, they need to have tools in their pocket to pull out at any time for those moments.
And sometimes it's taking a breath
and
stepping away.
Yep. And one of the things we always say is, before you answer any question, pause, take a moment, and think about, how will my answer affect my loved one? If I tell her the truth in this moment and correct her of what she is imagining in her mind is true, am I going to make her feel worse than the worry she's feeling in this moment? And the answer is usually yes. So when we take that pause, it gives us a second to think out our answer, to make it the least anxiety-causing answer we can. And a lot of times, the simple way to do that is just to say, I know you're worried. Please don't worry. Dinner's all taken care of. So that person doesn't feel like they have to be the one to make dinner, and they don't know where to look and where to start because it's not familiar to them. Right?
Yeah.
And, one of the things that my grandma used to ask all the time is, when are we going? When are we going? When are we going? And there was no plan to go anywhere. So it would be like, where do you want to go? I would get angry. I would get frustrated.
Which is just such a normal reaction for someone.
It's a normal reaction because no matter what I say, it's not helping. And we want to help. But when we don't, it's very frustrating. And that emotion that we carry, that person can feel that. So if we're stressing out and we're escalating, they're going to escalate, and the whole situation could have been avoided with the proper communication.
So if you're somebody who is living or caregiving for somebody who has dementia, and they are asking questions time and again, the same question, please contact us at the Dementia Center. We can help you with that.